What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. I have got a single StarCraft 2 commentary for you today. This match is going to be between Liquid's Jinro and IM's NesTea. We can see we are here on Typhoon Peaks with Jinro spawning in the bottom right-hand position as our Red Terran player, and then right over here in the bottom left we have NesTea as the Blue Zerg player. Yes, this will be a single game here for you on Sunday. One match of StarCraft 2 commentary, and that's going to do it. I think this will be a nice little break in between the football matches or whatever else you're doing today, whatever you are watching. I'm certainly excited for some football. I am ready for some football, as they would so eloquently say. Jinro coming out with that wall off, of course, at the front of his base. And, yeah, Jinro is probably one of my favorite Terran players. I just really enjoy his play. And NesTea, I've commentated a lot of NesTea's games as well, and I find him a pretty interesting Zerg player and certainly a very strong one as well. So hopefully this will be a solid matchup between these two. NesTea will be interested to see if he does decide to go out and hatch first. Wouldn't be incredibly surprised. This is a relatively large map, so hatch first can certainly do it for you. And if he doesn't get scouted first, I'm going to say he might actually just go ahead and do that. Give himself that economic advantage. We're going to be finding out in just 1 second, though. Is he going to be dropping that pool, or will he be going 15 hatch? And it looks like 15 hatch it will be. There's a scouting drone moving on out as well. So one to drop the hatch, another one to get some scouting done. Now back over here inside of Jinro's main base, we can see refinery coming out. Everything's looking fairly normal in terms of timings here. Jinro going 10 depot, 12 racks, and 13 refinery. Looks to be the timings there for that. We can see the SCV scout moving across and actually waiting there momentarily at that Zelnaga to try to see if he could spot NesTea's drones moving in any direction. NesTea, of course, cleverly avoiding that, made sure doesn't want to go up in that direction, and cuts through on the backside so that he can avoid that tower. We'll be trying to move up for that scout. Jinro sitting there with the SCV, and what is NesTea going to decide to do? Does he want to bother sacrificing? No, he does not. The question was there, did NesTea want to move in with that drone to get that scouting and check if there's a refinery and lose the drone, or did he just want to pull back with the drone? And it looks like he did decide to pull back home with the drone, walking right by that. Marines will be forcing the drone to pull on back home right now. SCV scout first checking upper right, deciding, hey, he is not there, and then moving down, and now he's going to be checking bottom left as he spotted the drone moving in that direction through vision of that Zelnaga. So the first Marine as well as that SCV working its way towards NesTea's base. There is the hatchery. Spawning pool just about finished. We do have the extractor up, getting that nice and saturated as well. And here comes the attempt at a bunker placement. We'll be dropping it right on down just in the nick of time there before that creep drop down. And he's going to be trying to get this up. Will be difficult, though. We do have a lot of drones here. NesTea, unfortunately, lots of time not mining right now as he is forced to chase those Marines to try to prevent this from going down. He does need to try to target fire that SCV as well. Nice Marine micro. One worker already dead right now. So Jinro doing a pretty decent job. We do finally have some Zerglings up. How many on the map already? Just 2. He is content with just 2, but unfortunately right here, as you can see, that is lots of time not mining there for NesTea. So again, that's one of the huge advantages to this type of aggression. That wasn't even a 2 racks, just 1 racks, small bit of Marine and bunker pressure, and it was enough to force a lot of not mining time from NesTea. And that's just one of those things. If you can apply that type of early pressure and still maintain your macro, as obviously Jinro could. He's got his factory up, he's pumping out Hellions, and here comes that expansion as well. So if you can do that type of pressure early on without affecting your macro at all, you can see again how beneficial that was. Lots and lots of time where NesTea was forced to not mine because he had to try to fend off that aggression. So right now we can see Zerglian's moving forward just to get some scouting. He will be spotting that factory with the reactor, so now he knows for certain, hey, you know, Hellions are coming out, but it looks like we are seeing another swap now. Just will be using those 2 Hellions, and now at this point in the game, NesTea doesn't know. He doesn't know if there's going to be more besides these 2 coming, and he actually needs to get an additional scout, and there you go. Very wise of you, NesTea, trying to circle right around, avoid that main push coming across the middle, and use that Zergling to see if that factory is still there, and if there will be indeed more Hellions coming, or just the 2. So right now, just 2 Hellions and a few Marines moving down. We do have quite a few Zerglings. Roachborn coming through. Metabolic boost is almost done. Zerglings forced to engage right now, though. I'm surprised he didn't wait for that metabolic boost, and he will be taking so much damage as a result, forced to come out with some more, and looks like he's saving a bit of resources, though, so that he can pump out some roaches. Roach Warren is now up, and there we go. 3 roaches coming through. He's going to stop at that, though. No reason to come out with much more than that. We've got Hellions working their way up into the main queen, trying to prevent them from doing much damage. That one Hellion's very low. Drone's coming down. Oh, boy. One Hellion is down. Second Hellion moving in, although it's going to take him a while to kill. He needs 3 shots in every worker just to actually take one out. And continuing to do some work, but again, we have those roaches just about to pop, and looks like the Queen may get the final blow, though. Queen working his way towards that Hellion. This is intense as Hellion. 7 kills right now. He's going to circumvent that Queen. No, the Queen's got a pin in the corner. Trying to pull back and get the angle, but no, the Hellion trying to make his way back on home. Zerglings, there we go. Finally, the Queen mops him up. Now, as you can see, secondary scout did go through, and this allowed NesTea to spot the fact that, you know what, there is just a barracks there. There's no more Hellions coming, but we do have Marine tank now. That transition coming through for Jinro. Jinro also trying to work his way down into his expansion. We do have Siege Tech ready to rumble here. And a couple of Zerglings trying to scout forward. That's not going to do much of anything, though. Marines doing a great job of blocking them. We got a nice little spread here for Jinro. Sitting a tank on the high ground is going to help protect his tank on the low ground, as well as those Marines. And then getting the extra range with this tank here on the low ground. So finally working to get that expansion saturated. Now let's take a look totally at the unit loss tab. Sitting about even, not evil. Why would I say something like that? Sitting about even right now, but again, the big thing to realize is that Jinro has done some pretty decent economic damage to NesTea. He's only killed off 2 workers, but we saw lots of not mining time over here. There's a little bit of not mining time over here as these drones were forced to engage those Hellions as well. And again, it's those small little victories that as long as you don't take too heavy a loss during the push, or at least even losses at your opponent, that these types of harassments can become very effective as we work to the mid and later stages of the game. Fortunately, Orbital Command is not rallied, so we do have an idle SCV situated right here. Looks like Jinro will be working his way on through and get ready for that Marine tank push right now. He's got Combat Shield working through, so it's going to be a timing push. That Combat Shield should be ready just about the time that he actually makes it there. So Combat Shield plus tank timing push coming out from Jinro. This is spotted by NesTea, having control of that tower with that Zergling. He is now fully aware that this push is coming. Marine will be standing there at that tower. The rest of the forces here trying to go down, and are they moving through the back side? Looks like they are. We'll be moving down in this angle. Now the Overlord right over here will be spotting that this is coming, and there we go. Actually, Jinro deciding to pull on back. He didn't feel like moving down there. Wouldn't be too surprised if he got rid of these rocks for when eventually we do see NesTea expand in that position, but as of now he is holding back. There's a scan spotting the forces, as well as going to allow him to get some of those tumors taken care of. Jinro needs to siege up. Here come those roaches. Speedling's moving on up as well. Roaches will be trying to target fire down that tank, and they're not going to get it there. We got that 1 tank, but they're not going to be able to get the rest of this. So Jinro's push will continue right now. We do have 8 more roaches coming out. There's no counterattack or anything like that in the works. Another scan going down, allowing him to take care of these last of the creep tumors. Unsiege, though, he needs to siege up quick. We have got 13 roaches coming out. I think once those pop, when NesTea should be all set. Unfortunately, he will be losing this extra hatchery that was being utilized for the extra larva there. Although, no, maybe not. He's going to get this out in time. Will he build him up what Jinro has? It's looking pretty decent. Needs some more roach reinforcements, though. Taking so much splash damage from those tanks. Actually, tanks forcing some splash against Marines. We do have some reinforcements coming on here, as well as some SCVs to repair those tanks, and he's got to get a repair on that tank right there. Roaches need to target fire down. There we go. And the constant stream of roaches and speedlings looks to be enough. Now these tanks are going to take care of the last bit of those roaches, but look, we do have 28 Zerglings coming out, and that should really be enough to mop up what Jinro has. Also those 5 mutas. So NesTea transitioning now into the Mutalist. He needs to be very wary about losing this, though. He needs to try to prevent that hatch from going down. That would be a big loss. There we go. Full surround on the tank, forcing the point-blank splash damage from his tank ally right next door. And the Zerglings finally get mopped up. There's that SCV taken out. And beautiful, beautiful defense there by NesTea. That could have been a lot worse. In all honesty, the fact that he saved this hatchery was absolutely phenomenal, because he 100% needed to do that. You can see overall, NesTea has taken greater losses right now, almost up 800 resources lost as opposed to where Jinro is at. However, now is the time right now for NesTea to get himself back in the game. He's working up those muta numbers, and now he needs to harass. That's really going to be very, very important for him. Big thing as well is that Jinro didn't spot those mutas, as it was just the speedlings that mopped up the rest of that force. So I don't think that Jinro knows that these mutas are out quite as of yet. Now, given the timing of the game right now, he could expect those mutas, but it doesn't look like he's prepared at all. We see no turret placement, and these mutas, if they push out now for NesTea, they do have a phenomenal opportunity to do quite a bit of damage. We do have NesTea moving up into his 3rd expansion over here, a little bit concerned about a 3rd right here and any type of harass from Jinro, so he's trying to hide it a little bit further away from him up in that upper left-hand position. But here comes the muta harass right now, and now it is time for Jinro to drop those turrets. We've got Marines doing what they can. The Marine numbers are pretty low, though. However, with that stim pack and combat shield, a little bit daunting. And what is he doing? Why would you not just take that free kill? There we go. Now, and by the time he pulls back, the Marines have moved forward to engage. So NesTea could have gotten that free kill quickly, but wasn't quite paying attention to that. We have a couple Speedlings moving across the map. We are seeing a nice wall off here by Jinro. Unfortunately, we do have some idle SCVs there, but this is going to delay Zerglings from being able to run on in. There is room, but it makes it a little bit more difficult for them actually to swoop on in there and do much damage at all. Couple of mutas situated over here. We do have some mutas at the natural, I believe, as well. There we go. And again, that third just getting up and running. Economically, NesTea should be a little bit behind, and yes, he is. We do have that third getting saturated right now for Jinro. So Jinro economically sitting in a very strong position. NesTea is going to have to do some work here. He needs to do some damage, get himself caught back up in this game, because right now he is certainly behind. Those turrets plus those Marines more than enough to deter this very small number, relatively small number of Mutalisks. He does have opportunity to move up here. However, a couple Stim Marines would actually shoot that back as well. So unfortunately, NesTea not really able to do much muta damage at all. I'm looking for weak spots, but really not finding many with the nice spread of the Marines plus all these turrets until those muta numbers get a little bit stronger, and they're starting to get close, and we can see constant production of mutas from NesTea. But until those numbers get a little bit higher, it's going to be hard for him to engage even just a few missile turrets. Hatch slowly regenerating itself. We do have some nice saturation, some decent upgrades coming out. Level 2 melee attack as well for NesTea. He's also got the level 1 flyer upgrades for those Mutalisks. Mutalisks trying to find a weak spot. As mentioned, going to be a little bit difficult. Points he could pick out. Well, if there was a refinery here, he could have taken care of that, but that's not really happening. Trying to move down and get that free SCV kill. There's a second. Only taking 2 turret shots and pushing back before those Marines do move on in. Beautiful placement there of that sensor tower as well from Jinro. That's actually really, really nice positioning. Going to allow him to see anything moving in from this direction. So very, very nice. And you can see that spot's just to the edge of the map as well. So Muta Harass moving from this direction will be, Jinro will have that extra moment to prepare for it. Constant macro coming up from both players, and it looks like we are transitioning into sort of a macro stage of the game right now, moving into the middle stage of the game, post 15-minute mark. Mutas, again, trying to do what they can. Not a whole lot going to be happening, though. We got the Flyer level 2 upgrades, a Melee level 2 coming out as well, with lots of Banelings coming out. We do have those centrifugal hooks, I believe. Don't know where that Baneling nest is. Mutas trying to move on in, do a little bit of damage. There we go, dropping that one turret, and we'll be trying to take out that NG Bay. Not going to happen, though. Marines able to push that back. Again, not a lot going on. We do have Jinro moving towards the center of the map, and it looks like, unfortunately, NesTea will be losing that Overlord. So right now, Jinro making his way into the center. He will be starting to work to try to get some map control, and this is really the point in the game where we need to try to see those mutas pick off those tanks just like that, grabbing the one-shot kill there for NesTea, and then pulling back. The other thing those mutas can do is pick off reinforcements like this. Some free kills over here. No, that's not really a free kill right there. Lots of Marines plus that Thor. That wouldn't be the easiest of kills. Even Magic Boxing, he'd take pretty heavy losses there. Sorry for the cough, jeez. So we have NesTea moving into his 4th right now. Again, those mutas trying to do what they can, but oh no! They walked into some Stim Marine action, and they took some very hefty losses there. Those muta numbers, not nearly what they were, a shadow of their former self. Yeah, he took some pretty big losses there. Let's take a look. NesTea is certainly quite a bit behind, so he needs to really just focus on his macro right now. He's having a very hard time, very, very hard time actually doing any harass. And again, Jinro, props to him for the very, very defensive positioning of turrets and supply depots and everything else, stopping Jinro from being able to, stopping NesTea from being able to do much damage to Jinro at all. Mutas will be taking their few free kills over there. The stragglers in that Marine bunch there. Stim Marine moving forward to get some scouting information. He's actually checking that expo. As we know, however, NesTea is not expanded up there. He has moved up here, and that's actually a great opportunity for some medevac Marine drop harass at those expos. Can do a ton of damage. We have a slow push moving forward right now for Jinro, and he's trying to push right up onto NesTea and see if he can actually take out that hatch and do a bit more damage. However, there are a lot of Speedlings and Banelings. We do finally have an infestation pit coming out. That is so many Speedlings and Banelings, and here it comes. Sacrificial Speedlings moving up first. Banelings right behind, and this is not looking good for Jinro. He's getting mopped up. He is not going to be able to take care of this. Very, very overwhelming forces there by NesTea. That was fantastic and exactly what NesTea needed to get himself back in this game, and look at that. Pretty much even right now in terms of resources lost. Beautiful, beautiful play there by NesTea. Looks like he will be attempting to move out for a counterattack, trying to see if he can do a bit of damage. Try to avoid that Thor. Splashed up Mutas. Pretty dangerous right now. There we go, pulling back. And he's going to be getting a little map control right now, grabbing those towers, doing everything he can to get some vision and find out exactly what is going on. Again, I am concerned of the fact, Jinro hasn't spotted out these Expos yet, but I'm sure he knows that they're there by now, given the fact that he knows that this third isn't in this position. And we do have also NesTea spotting out over here. That was a very unfortunate situation for Jinro. He just got completely overwhelmed. The massive amount of speedlings, again, soaking up that splash damage, allowing those banelings to roll in and getting a full surround on those forces. And even with that decent spread, Jinro just did not have the splash damage to take care of the heavy ground forces there for NesTea. NesTea also sitting on some very nice upgrades. He is at 2-1 right now. Jinro at 2-1 as well. Does he have any mech upgrades? No, he does not. Not coming out with any. Working his way up to the level 3 weapons. So NesTea will be trying to do what he can to get some map control. Here's the dropping that will be coming as expected. Just the one medevac right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few more in the not too distant future. So yes, macro game is where we're at right now between these two players. And actually Marines dropping on the ground for Jinro. Interestingly enough, he's not continuing to move on forward. Looks like he just actually wants to get some Overlord kills. And he will be getting a few. Overlord right there. Overlord right here is another free kill as well. We have a lot of speedlings and banelings actually pushing back to try to deal with that. Some more drops going on over here. And that will be taking out that Overlord and then pushing up into the main. And let's see if this drop can do much of anything. Jinro will be dropping in 2 positions. Here we go. Moving up in the main. Trying to do some damage. We got a lot of mutas moving down. Those are going to get shredded though pretty quickly. The spine crawlers helping thin up those Marine numbers. Looks like this drop has been taken care of. However, on the high ground, those Marines from the low ground will be able to shoot. Lost quite a few mutas in that engagement, but the spine crawler plus the queen really helped thin up those numbers so that damage wasn't as devastating. Jinro dancing around right now with this medevac. However, we do have mutas moving down to take care of that. He first will be moving down, trying to take out. He didn't get anything there. But luckily, here come the mutas, and that should be enough to take care of these Marines. He needs to be careful, though. Doesn't want to engage the full force of those Marines until the speedlings come in, and there we go. Force the lift off as the speedlings move forward. And then at the same time, take out that medevac. Beautiful play there by NesTea. Finally able to take care of that lone medevac. So didn't end up taking too much damage, unfortunately, there for NesTea. Didn't really do the type of damage he would have liked to see. He really wanted to thin up the economy, and the drop in the main, one of the main purposes there, besides taking out the queen, if you can drop that layer hive or any of the major tech buildings here for NesTea, that's absolutely phenomenal. But unfortunately, again, as we saw, Jinro was not able to do that. So Jinro moving across right now with a push, sitting relatively tank heavy right now. That's going to help him quite a bit from getting overwhelmed like we saw last time from those massive amounts of speedlings and banelings. Couple mutas moving across. They will be spotting the location. Stim Marines forcing them back right now. And we have Jinro moving up from the backside. Will we see a surround here from NesTea? That's one of the major questions I have right now, because if he can surround him in this choke point, that would just be an absolute travesty for Jinro. We can see Jinro getting ready to expand into this position right now and actually just continuing to move around. He was content with the fact that he took out some creep tumors over here. He will be pushing back to the center. We got a large force of the speedlings and banelings though moving across, and these tanks, there we go, finally sieging up. That was actually very close. Scan going down there for Jinro. That was very close, because if NesTea had caught those tanks on siege, then Jinro would have been in an absolutely terrible position. He would have taken so much damage there. We'll be staying sieged up right here for now. Decent spread of those Marines, and ooh, a little tank fire there going down on those banelings. Killing off a few of them, in fact. Actually taking care of the Marine right there. They're attempting to grab that Zelnaga tower. We got small forces slowly pushing forward. Here we go. Muta's trying to engage. Unfortunately, push back, though, from those Marines in that Thor. So we are seeing Jinro continuing this aggressive stance towards the center of the map. Again, also expanding into this position. I do expect to see a planetary fortress over here. That is a very risky spot. And I wouldn't be too surprised if NesTea actually moves down to that right now. Look at that impeccable scan right there. He had a Marine, though, so obviously he knew where the forces were. He's just checking everything. We got lost spines coming down over here as well. And Jinro, worried about losing this expo, is going to be forced to move his forces. However, again, on siege, it's a great opportunity for NesTea. On siege tanks, is he going to push on it? No, he decides not to. Decides to push back. He probably could have done a lot of damage there, in all honesty. Some more drops will be attempted over here. Any drops taking place over here? No, not quite as of yet. And these attempted drops momentarily shoot back right now. Here come the speedlings and banelings. Get ready to engage this expansion. Planetary making its way on through. We'll be dropping those Marines to try to help with this. There's a lot of banelings, though, forcing the lift off. Tanks sieging up. Banelings moving forward, taking splash damage from the tanks in the back. Managed to get a few Marines, but maybe not enough. Some more speedlings and banelings move forward. They're going to continue to push into the natural expansion. It looks like they may. Are we going to be seeing a counterattack, or will Jinro try to defend against this? Where are the speedlings and banelings going? There we go. Speedlings and Banelings rolling up into the main, and let's see how much damage they're able to do. Mutas will be moving up at the same time as well, and they're in the main, starting to work on these production buildings. This is a little bit dangerous. A lot of damage going to be done right now. He's going to kill off those production buildings. First getting rid of those turrets. Speedlings trying to continue to do what they can. Marines pushing back, stimmed up. Will be trying to prevent this from doing too much damage. However, Jinro already taking quite a bit of damage right now. The Speedlings, Banelings, and Mutas inside of his main, going to town, taking out those attachments. Certainly helps him quite a bit. And right now, look at how vulnerable. This is why, as a Zerg player, you take advantage of the speed and mobility of your units, the Speedlings and the Mutalisks. If you can force your opponent to defend one position and then quickly maneuver yourself to another position, you know, high priority targets, just like expansions here. That was phenomenal for NesTea. He did a lot of damage in the main, and although he lost all of his Speedlings and Banelings, he also managed to stop this expansion. The big threat right now, though, is a counterattack from Jinro, and Jinro will, in fact, be moving out with that. It looks like he is targeting the expansions here of NesTea, realizing that NesTea's main and national must be mined out by now. We are 28 minutes into the game. I'm absolutely loving, though, the amount of harassment that NesTea was able to do there. With that said, though, this is a very strong push coming down from Jinro. He's got a lot of forces and more than enough tanks to deal with any possible Speedlings and Banelings. We do have Broodlords in play, though. NesTea teching up to Broodlords right now, utilizing that Hive tech, and he will be wanting to use his Speedlings, Banelings, and those Infestors to keep those Marines at bay and allow his Broodlords to do as much damage as possible. We do have a drop that will be moving across right now. Lots of spines from NesTea to try to defend against these drops from doing too much damage. NesTea's forces just kind of dancing around the middle. He's got a lot of Mutas mixed in there with the Corruptors and Broodlords, though, and I don't know if he's got enough to actually deal with the Marines themselves. I would like some more fungal growth and some more Speedlings and Banelings. Here we go, though. Jinro moving up to drop here on this expansion. This will get taken out pretty quickly. Look at that Baneling splash damage. However, pay attention right over here. We got another drop going down for Jinro in the main base. Main targets at this point in the game are definitely tech. He wants to take out tech buildings, Roach Warren, Spawning Pool, Greater Spire, all of that stuff. Very important targets right now. Unfortunately for NesTea, his army is very slow with those Broodlords in the mix. And there we go. We'll be dropping the Greater Spires. It was coming out with some upgrades. Dropping the Infestation Pit and dropping the Spawning Pool. Jinro, that is a lot of damage. And at the exact same time, he will be pushing on this expansion. It's a huge danger right now. Look how slow these Broodlords are. NesTea hasn't been able to utilize these Broodlords because Jinro is spreading him thin, just attacking from multiple angles. So he will be taking out this expansion, no problem. But he cannot make it. He's forced to rebuild his Spire, forced to rebuild his Infestation Pit. He's got an Ultralisk Cavern coming out as well. Tanks will be caught on siege. Over there's not a lot of ground forces. Infestors need to be careful, dropping fungal growth on all his tanks. Oh no, Jinro will be losing all of that right now, and his force is going to be getting mopped up. Yes, he did take out this expansion, but at what cost right now? He's losing everything here. Nice fungal there as well, and the rest of those Marines, this medevac will be getting taken out. Jinro will be losing that. Oh no, that was not very good at all. Jinro lost his entire force there. Besides this one medevac of Marines, NesTea will be losing that Overlord. But that was a pretty hefty loss right now. And Jinro also getting mined out. He needs to get up another expansion right now. His income must be terrible in comparison to NesTea, and it is. Look at that. Very bad position right now. They're about even with Jinro being a little bit further behind in terms of resources lost. But right now, NesTea is sitting in a relatively strong position. Taking a look at the army tab, 1 to 2 army supplies, opposed to 56 to Jinro. Jinro going heavy anti-air as expected with these Broodlords. We need those Infestors to get some fungals, though, on those Marines. Obviously, those Broodlords will be doing a bit of damage to those Marines as well, forcing the entire force back right now. Jinro's actually in a tough spot at this position. We do have NesTea rebuilding his expansion. Also coming up with here, the huge economic advantage is really going to start to come into play right now at this point in the game. Jinro trying to provide himself an escape path there. But look at those Broodlords just continuing to push forward and thin up these Marine numbers. We do have the Vikings trying to move forward. Those will get dropped almost immediately. Those Stim Marines doing what they can. They get taken out, though, from all the Broodlings. Nice fungal growth. And Jinro calling the G. Jinro pushed out early on this game with some bunker Marine harass. However, we did have NesTea pull off the line with those workers to try to prevent this from doing much damage. The big problem, of course, for NesTea here is that he has spent a lot of time not mining. Although Jinro's harass didn't do much damage besides that, that certainly helped him out quite a bit. We then saw Jinro push out with 2 Hellions and some Marines, and again was able to do a little bit of economic damage to NesTea. He managed to get up in the main, force some drones to stop mining, and also kill off a few of them as well. After fending off that aggression, NesTea worked his way up into Mutalisk and then also got a second hatch at his natural expansion for additional larvae. Jinro continued up his aggressive stance, being the constant aggressor in the early stage of this game, moved forward with a tank marine push, and we saw a nice surround managing to take out one tank. However, Jinro was able to continue to push forward. He tried to work down at this expansion, however, NesTea was eventually able to get up enough forces to actually push this back and prevent him from taking out the hatchery at his natural. NesTea then worked into his third expansion and moved out for a counterattack with those Mutalisks. He was able to do a little bit of damage, however, a scouting SCV and down in this position managed to spot those Mutos and allow Jinro to respawn before he took too much economic damage. With a nice spread of turrets and marines, Jinro was able to stop the Mutalisk harass from doing any damage whatsoever during the middle stages of the game. Jinro pushed out with Marine Tank Thor at about the 18-minute mark in the game, hoping to get a kill right here. However, we did see NesTea amass a very large force of Speedlings and Banelings, and it was enough to overwhelm Jinro's forces. Even with the decent tank spread, he just did not have enough splash damage to be able to deal with that overwhelming force. After losing his entire force during that push, Jinro attempted to move out with some drop harass, however that was quickly handled by NesTea. At the same time, Jinro also attempted to drop on NesTea's main, which was also quickly dispatched. As Jinro was at the center of the map, we saw NesTea push onto his third expansion, which forced him back, and as NesTea did massive amounts of damage and forced the liftoff of this expansion, and Jinro responded, we then saw NesTea use the mobility of his forces to actually pull away from this engagement and move right up into the main base of Jinro. With this, he was able to do quite a bit of damage in the main, and again, force Jinro's forces to move on down to deal with this harassment. And then immediately after that, we saw NesTea push out with his Mutalisk to hit that third again and take it out. Jinro was able to distract NesTea, forcing him to the upper left corner of the map to deal with this drop, and at the same time drop on NesTea's main with this drop. And since the main forces of NesTea were all the way across the map, Jinro was able to take out a few key tech buildings and put himself in a great position. Realizing NesTea was without major tech, we then saw Jinro push onto this expansion to take it out. However, then he got then overwhelmed from the backside from the very heavy Broodlord and Air Force here from NesTea, and this allowed NesTea to mop up everything that Jinro had left and secure the victory. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed this commentary. I hope you all have a great Sunday. We'll be returning on Monday with some more StarCraft commentary strategy videos and preparing for the Diablo 3 beta to be starting next week. As always guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.